World Wide Web, a system so wonderful, born in such an unassuming way, initially created as a network only consisting of a few personal computers, meant for file sharing and so on. It quickly evolved into something more, as people realized it could be used for entertainment. As more and more computers were connected to it, the number of machines quickly became tens of thousands, then millions. Now, while a great part of the web uses links to find a website, a link being an unchangeable string of letters and/or numbers that points to one unique page, this doesn't apply to the entirety of the internet. The dark web is the perfect example, a place where addresses and domains change, shifting around like the walls of a magical labyrinth. Somewhere to get lost exploring, or worse, where to lose oneself. It wasn't particularly hard for Stephen to navigate it. After all, he had picked up most of that knowledge in school. A skip and a hop with the mouse was all it took to find himself in shady corners of the net, as he browsed links coming from shady forums. Illegal stuff was easy to get a hold of, and more so was it to become shocked by the illegal content. Yet that's not what he was interested in. He wanted one thing, and one alone: entertainment. His clicks landing him in a page by the red background, he smiled when seeing the website's title, The Clown's Red Room. He had heard of red rooms before, a place where bidders could pay to make the people on video do just about anything. As the page loaded after some time, a window appeared by the center of the screen, next to a chat that slowly filled with messages of anticipation. A red blinking dot on the top let Stephen know the footage was live, as he pointed his eyes at a man dressed in a clown mask doing a funny dance. The quality of the video was quite rough, despite his internet's good quality, but something was in the back of the scene. A naked woman tied by the arms, red bruises over her body. It looked just like Stephen's sister, Clara, studying in another state. What? He thought to himself, trying to make out the shape of the woman's face through the pixelated stream. The clown stopped dancing as a voice spoke from a speaker in the room. "It has been brought to our attention that our guest of honor has come. Everyone say hello to Stephen." The blood froze in his veins. In the meantime, the chat by the video's side lit up with many messages greeting him. "Hi. Welcome, Stephen. How do you like your bitch of a sister all tied up?" Was that really his sister? A notification popped on the screen. $100 with the message, "Break her index finger." The clown lifted his mask off an inch, speaking. "Since her brother is here, we will allow him the time to match the donation in order to cancel the last order." A payment field opened up on his screen. Unable to believe his eyes, Stephen didn't click it, and so after some seconds the clown spoke again. "Have it your way," he said, putting the mask back on. The camera panned onto the woman's face. He could indeed recognize her as being his sister, now that there was enough detail for him to see. Stephen tried to click the payment screen in a hurry, but a message came up saying "too late" as he tried. With a pincer, the clown clasped one of her fingers, harshly pulling it to the side, making a loud crack. She screamed for minutes as the chat went wild, cheering the clown on, telling him to do more, to break her teeth, fracture her ribs, break her kneecaps. The second donation came in shortly after. "Punch her nose in, $240. "What will it be, Stephen?" says the clown, as he takes a hold of a knuckle duster, wearing it. The screen came up again and he clicked it, putting his info in as soon as he could. He wasn't fast enough, and the window closed before he could be done. "Damn it," he screamed, slamming his palm on the keyboard. "Hear that, Clara? Time is up." The clown turned around, reeling back like a baseball player ready to hit a home run, smashing his fist in Stephen's sister's face. It was all in awfully vivid detail, despite the low quality, as blood started pouring from her destroyed nostrils, and the chat cheered on the clown once again. "Yes, we want more. Now her teeth, please," they chanted horridly, as Stephen's heart sunk into his chest for the next donation's order. Pull out her teeth, $1,337. The screen came up once again, while the clown made a tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock noise, mimicking a clock. Thankfully, his previous info was saved in, and he was able to place the donation. Pull out her teeth, canceled, $1,337. A choir of disappointment erupted in the chat, as the clown laughed and laughed, inciting more money to be pooled in the show for things to happen. Stephen didn't have too much money to spend, only $3,000 left in the account. He couldn't go on much longer, but had to. The new donation came in, swallowing all hope with it. Boil her alive, $69,420. Nearly $70,000. A macabre request, attached to a mockery of a number, adding insult to injury. Oh, will Stephen be able to match this? Laughed the clown, maniacally. The payment field lit up once again, but Stephen was frozen stiff. That amount of money was too much. There was no way to get it. It was impossible to match. Before he could be done thinking, the field disappeared with the clown saying, "Heard that, Clara? Time's up." "No, no, no," screamed Stephen, punching his computer screen in rage, breaking it. With only black and white cracks visible in the smashed screen, he couldn't see what happened next, but the screams that followed dug deep into his mind. Unforgettable. He turned the PC off, unable to take any more of that horrible sound. His sister would never be found again, forever consumed by the needy eyes and pockets of the watchers, cheering, itching for some entertainment. The internet, a never-ending stream of information, a storm on the mind, numbing down our sense of amazement, dulling the feelings of discovery and excitement. Of course, one such as Claude would grow addicted to it, when their earliest memory was that of smartphones being introduced to the public, making these as the perfect Christmas gift. His family being rich, it was just like another toy to them, and Lord forbid their child was to be seen without the new trendy thing when in school. One thing led to another, and he grew up loving the idea of technology, studying it in his free time despite the push to take after the family business. In particular, one place fascinated him the most, a forum he had found on the dark web. He didn't land there looking for illegal things, but merely for fun, when he stumbled across the website titled Golden Fleece, Treasure Hunting. The rules were simple. Anyone could hide anything, mark the coordinates to be able to find it, then post them on the forum-like website. Pictures could be published in the comments of every treasure hunt, and people locating the treasure were encouraged to document their findings, which they most often did. Claude, scrolling past the various listings, was amazed by the things people fought to hide for the members to find, ranging from old golden jewelry, stashes of marked paper bills, or even much less legal stuff. Some other times, the location would simply point to things of great interest, poetry, etc. One post, listed mere hours before, piqued his curiosity. Latitude, 42.07344. Longitude, 124.00487. Distortion, 1.81. He had been studying the way coordinates work and kept his own house's latitude and longitude handy, quickly recognizing that the ones in the treasure hunt were near him. A more in-depth search localized the pointer a mere 5 hours of driving away, in the middle of a field. A few hours passed, and, backpack ready, he decided to do it. Hitting enter on the text field under the post, he wrote, "We'll be checking this out. Wish me luck." Departing in the early morning on a sunny day, the asphalt road eventually turned to a mere beaten path at the 3-hour mark, and eventually, just a wide field of grass was left. Driving as far as he could in the tall weeds, he was almost there. It was just past this small hill. He drove towards it, but quickly realized his mistake. The tires had sunk into deep mud. Minutes of trying to get the car unstuck were for nothing, and eventually he decided to call for a pickup truck. which was going to take a few hours to get there. Might as well check it out on foot. It's just past the hill, thought Claude. Walking there was quite easy, and as he reached the spot, he looked at his phone to check his GPS coordinates. Realizing he was a bit to the right of it, he moved towards the correct spot, feeling some solid ground under himself. Placing his hands on the floor, he was amazed to find what appeared to be some really high-quality synthetic grass, covering a wooden hatch. No way on earth he was going to find it without the exact location. He lifted the grass carpet to find a rusted lock placed on the small door. He produced a spade from his backpack, using it to make quick work of the old thing. The hinges creaked awfully as he pulled the sides of the hatch open, an awful smell of rot coming from within. He took his camera out of the bag, passing the strap over his neck, taking a good picture for the forum. He couldn't wait to go home to post about it. Yet he couldn't deny his nervousness at that rancid smell. Ignoring his instincts, making himself believe it was just a dead rat or something, he went inside. A long cement corridor, appearing as the entrance of a bunker, extended ahead of him. Walking that long path was nerve-wracking, when considering that all the sound he made was immediately bounced back at him. Eventually, Claude made it to the end, a door in poor condition standing in his way. Building courage in his heart, he turned the handle, naively thinking, bad things don't happen to rich people. Inside, shadows made it impossible to see, being too far away from the light of the sun at this depth. Something was in the center of the otherwise seemingly empty room. Claude pointed his camera at it, taking a picture with his flash on. A terrible picture appeared on his screen, that of an abominable, naked human being sitting in a shoddy chair. He was grotesquely tall, with iron harnesses placed all around his body and head, like a caged beast. Blood was everywhere on the floor around him. After the flash of the camera went off, the room became once again shrouded in darkness, but a deep, low-pitched screaming began, with Claude nearly passing out from fear as he turned around and ran. He made his way to the exit, with heavy steps starting to echo behind him as the wailing of that thing followed. He ran and ran, all of his blood feeling like it had drained away from his face and went into his legs. As he made it over the hill, he turned to see the horrid being standing out in the field. He had to be nearly 7 feet in height, limbs encrusted with blood where they were restrained by the metallic shackles, fitted too tightly. He had loose hanging skin over his abdomen and the lower parts of his arms, and was covering his face with his rugged hands, like shielding from the sunlight. In a second, it turned his head towards Claude. He had no eyelids of any sorts, but just 2 bulging red eyes, peeking from holes carved into the big shackle passing over his cheekbones. He opened his toothless, rotten mouth, letting out a horrid scream, and chased the man with his much longer, faster, slender legs. The police couldn't tell what to make of the pictures found on the bloody camera next to the abandoned car. A man by the name of Claude had gone missing there, having called for help with his stuck car, but by the time the truck came, nothing but the camera itself could be found to mark his last position. On it were only a weird series of pictures, a selfie with him in a backpack, a path of beaten dirt, a seemingly empty field of grass, a hatch by the ground, then 2 more. Inexplicably, a grotesque picture of an empty chair standing in the middle of a room full of blood was the 5th picture, with the last being the gored corpse of a man still to be identified. Claude's whereabouts are still unknown to this date. If you like these scary stories, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, you won't be escaping from the fear zone.